I see Rick and Cliff, the two characters that Quentin's created, kind of as one individual, and it really comes down to acceptance of your place, your life, your surroundings, your challenges, your troubles, and we find in the Rick character we see someone who's hilariously so, feeling like put upon by life, and it's not good enough, life's against him, with some of the greatest breakdown scenes I've ever seen by my friend Leo here, and then in the Cliff character that Quentin created, you see a guy who's gone past that and is at a place of acceptance with his lot in life, quite at peace, will take whatever comes and knows he'll figure it out as we go. So for me, it comes down to acceptance. That time, 1969, when the Manson murders occurred, this was a time, building up to that, there was a free love movement. There was a lot of hope. There was these new ideas floating out there. Cinema was new, being recalibrated. And when that event happened, and the tragic loss of Sharon and others, what scares people and why it lasts so much today, I think, is because it was a sobering, dark look at the dark side of human nature, and that pivotal moment was a real loss of innocence, and I think that's what the film so beautifully addresses.
I did a lot of research and watched and read everything I could, but at the same time, I think as an actor, our job is to understand or try and understand what purpose our character serves to the story. So more importantly, it was why is this character in the story? And to me, Quentin said it to me early on, she's the heartbeat of the story. And for me, I just saw her as a ray of light, and I just wanted her to be light. And that was my job and my role to serve in this story. So I kind of applied to myself to the character in that respect. And in doing so, I felt like I could honor the memory of real life Sharon Tate, who so many people said was such a bright light in this world. I often do look to the interaction with other characters to inform me on the character. Rarely do I get an opportunity to spend so much time on my own as a character, going through a day-to-day existence. That was actually an interesting thing for me to do as an actor. I actually really appreciated the exercise and felt that I could deliver what I wanted to on screen.
It wasn't meant to be ridiculously self-conscious, but I think there is a bit of summing up of certain things that I wasn't necessarily trying to do, but they just started appearing. I just remember when one of the first people to read the script was my my first AD, Bill Clark, and he's been my first AD since Jackie Brown, and on Pulp Fiction he was a PA. And he's can't even imagine making a movie without him. And so he came down to the house to read it, because we weren't giving it out. You have to come to my house to read it. These guys will tell you that. And he came down to the house to read it. And so it's, okay, so this is number 9, huh? Okay. And he goes out by the pool and he reads it and he comes back, damn, number 9 is like all 8 of them put together. And I hadn't really thought about it like that, but then, there was just, little things. I'm friends with Lorenza, and I've seen her work before because she's done a few films with my buddy Eli Roth. So I was very familiar with Lorenza's work. But I've seen her in at least 3 different starring parts. And but I didn't just give her the role. She actually came in and auditioned. But the thing that was great is not only did she learn the dialogue in Italian, she learned about 20 different phrases in Italian that she could also say. Even that whole thing when she's being interviewed by the cops, that she just improvised that. She just was able, she knew enough to actually be able to improvise in Italian. I was very impressed. And I think she's very funny in the movie. She's exactly kind of, she's almost like the Italian starlet scatterbrain that you see in a lot of Italian comedies of that era. I think we're fascinated by it because at the end of the day, it almost seems unfathomable. I've done a lot of research on it, and I think a lot of people have not done professional research, but over the last few years, either they read one book or two books or listened to the podcast that develop about it or TV specials every 3 years or so. And how he was able to get these girls and even these young boys to just submit to him, it just seems unfathomable. And frankly, the more you learn about it and the more information you get and the more concrete it gets, it doesn't make it any clearer. It actually makes it even more obscure the more you know. And I think the unknowingness of it, the impossibility of being able to truly understand it, I think is what causes its fascination.
I immediately identified with this character in a lot of ways because I grew up in the industry, and this guy is sort of on the outskirts of times that are changing, and he's sort of left behind. And it, for me, ultimately, it's just an immense appreciation that I have for the position that I'm in, and the fact that this guy is suddenly sort of struggling with his own pathos, his own ability to gain confidence and persevere and get that next job. I don't know. I immediately connected with him. I have a lot of friends in the industry, and I know how lucky I am to be in this opportunity. So I just feel immense gratitude. Hell yeah, Rick Dalton's a great actor. No, but adding to your question, which I think I would like to say in combination, just to talk about Quentin's very unique process. There are few people in this world that have the collective knowledge about not only cinematic history, but music and television. It's almost like tapping into a computer database. And the wealth of knowledge is unfathomable, and it keeps coming and coming. So in a way, I really think this movie is his love story to his industry, and he's put at the helm of it two kind of characters that are outsiders, and the 60s have come along, and this industry has sort of passed them by. But I think we all of us at this table at one time felt like outsiders in the industry, and it's really a love letter to the industry and those people that he appreciates. I think. I mean, we studied people like. Everyone from Ralph Meeker to Eddie Burns to Ty Hardin, all these actors whose work that he really appreciates from an artistic perspective, who contributed in his mind to this, this catalog of cinematic and television achievements. And it's his love letter to the outsiders of the industry, and that was what was most touching about the story for me in a lot of ways. But to me, it's a sort of film for him about coming home. I don't know how else to describe it, but it's truly a love letter to this industry that we're so fortunate enough to work in.